Hi guys, Jon Watts here from the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me at Drayton Park Golf Club, and today what I want to talk about is a simple course management tip that's going to save you a few shots next time you get on the course. So it's where to tee the ball up, and should I think about it a little bit more. I find a lot of amateurs just go right between the markers. So here I've got the two white tee markers, and I find just most golfers just tee up somewhere in the middle and right between the two markers. Well, often when I'm playing with the amateurs in Pro-Ams, I see them teeing off slightly in front of the markers. Of course, that would actually be a two-shot penalty. If it was in match play, their opponent could ask them to retake their shot, so it can be a really costly thing. When the hole this is 364 yards from the white stones here. So when the hole's 364 yards, going back an extra yard, extra couple of feet isn't really going to make any difference to you. What you'll find by going a little bit back behind the markers is, one, it won't be as worn because there won't have been as many people playing from that area, especially in the winter time when tee boxes start to get a little chewed up, a little bit muddier from more use and the weather that we're having. By coming back away from those markers, hopefully you'll get a better area of grass, so you'll have a firmer footing, less likely to lose balance, and you can also find someone's divot. Now, being a par 4, not many people are actually hitting irons off this tee. There isn't a whole lot of divots, but if there was a divot here that was pointing at my target, I would tee up a couple of feet behind it and use that as my intermediate target. I always, if I'm playing with a good player who's taken a divot, and the divot's pointing at the target where I want to go, I'll use that and I'll tee up a couple of feet behind it. What you can do out here is just find those divots that will point you in the right direction. The other thing you can do is if the tee box has been cut and striped, and the stripe is pointing where you want to go, again I would tee up on that stripe so you can follow the dark to light stripe to help with aim and alignment. So it's either a stripe or find a divot to follow. The other thing, of course, you can do, you're allowed to tee the ball up 18 times in your round of golf, is draw a line on the ball, point that line where you want to go. So think a little bit about where you're going to tee up. Is there anything you can follow? And do use a line on the ball for alignment purposes as well. That's really going to help. The second part I wanted to talk about was where I should tee up. Should I be more on the right or more on the left? So for me as a right-handed player, if I was a natural fader of the ball, so a ball flight that's starting left and bending to the right, I'm better up teeing over here on the right-hand side because it's going to encourage me to aim down the left-hand side and play with my shot shape. I don't want to try and change what I've got on the golf course. I just want to get the ball in the hole in a lower number. I can make those changes on the practice area or the driving range. If I was a natural drawer of the ball, so right to left, ball flight for me as a right-handed player, I'd tee up over here on the left-hand side. Do remember, it's only your ball that has to be somewhere between these markers. Your feet can be outside of it. And the other rule for any of you beginners thinking, well, do I not have to tee up between the markers? You're allowed to come 2 club lengths back. So I'm allowed to actually come 2 club lengths back from these markers, and it's only my golf ball that has to be in this rectangle. So 2 club lengths back from the markers, and it's only the ball that has to be between this. There's no problem with my feet being outside of it. So if I was hitting more of that right to left shot shape again, I'm better off teeing up over here on the left-hand side to encourage me to aim down the right. Now, for me, I hit a relatively neutral ball flight. There's not a huge amount of curve on it when I play well. So I would tee up depending on where the trouble is. So on this one, the only bit of trouble I'm really trying to avoid is there's a fairway bunker out there at about 230 yards. It's about 240 to get past it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tee up on the right-hand side. Now I could take drive and fly it past that, but it starts to get a little narrow. So I've chosen a 3-wood that will land about level with that bunker. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tee up on the right-hand side because the bunker is on the right-hand side. By teeing up on the right-hand side, it's going to encourage me to aim more down the left-hand side away from that bunker. If the ball does fade, hopefully I've started it enough left that that bunker's still not coming into play. So try and think where the trouble is on the hole. If the trouble's on the right, tee up on the right-hand side. Always tee up as close to the trouble as you can to encourage you to aim away from it. If the trouble was on the left-hand side, I tee up on the left-hand side again to encourage me to aim to the right. What I'm asking you to do is just think about it a little bit more next time you get on the golf course, either your normal shot shape tendencies or where the trouble is on the hole to try and avoid it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit one here. So I'm going to come back behind the markers. I've got a little intermediate target here that I'm going to try and follow. So I'm going to tee up a couple of feet behind it. And I'm teeing up on the right-hand side. And I'm teeing up on the right-hand side again to encourage me to aim down the left. So I'm aiming away from that bunker. And the important thing to do is to try and pick your target that you're aiming for. So I'm not looking just at the center of the fairway. I really want to pick something very pinpoint. So if you can pick something in the distance, maybe a certain tree, top of a building, a chimney pot, anything you can focus on that's an exact target. We don't want to just aim at the fairway, okay? So I'm aiming down that left side, and I've got the tree that I'm trying to aim at, so I'm focusing on that point. And by teeing up on that right-hand side and aiming down this left-hand side, it's going to give me a little bit more margin for error. So that's absolutely spot on down that left side of the fairway. I did have that little bit of fade, which I was almost encouraging by teeing up here on the right-hand side. But it's very, very safe, well away from that fairway bunker, and going to leave me a pretty easy second shot. I hope that video's helped, guys. If it has, please post any comments, questions and queries below. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and check out the channel for plenty other content coming every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Thanks, guys.